Let us continue looking at this issue of significant figures. In videos before, we looked at a number that was greater than 1, fairly large number, and we saw that when we wrote it to a certain number of significant figures, all those numbers to the right, we have to maintain those positions and turn them to 0. Alright, so you should review those videos before coming to this one. And an example of what was done before would have been something like, say, 150, or no, 155, and you want that to two significant figures. The first significant figure was 1, so you put that down, that's 1. The second significant figure is 5. You look and see the right, on the right of it, it is 5 or more, the next number, so you come back and add 1 to this 5 to make 6. But you can't stop there, because you cannot say 155 and then it's approximate, let us call it 16. No, you have to put that 0 there to show that you're talking about 100 and something. Alright, so remember that. Let us look at a number now that is very small, a number that is less than 1. In this case, what we have is 0.003156. Suppose you're asked to write this number to 4 significant figures. What would you do? Let me just make a note of that. I want to write down this number to 4, let's call it SF, significant figures. Now, first of all, remember, if you are dealing with decimal places, it would have been the 0, then the point, and the first decimal place would be 0, second decimal place another 0, third decimal place 3, the fourth decimal place would be 1, but because the number to the right of 1 is 5 or more, you add 1 to that one to make 2. You remember the rule about this thing. That would be decimal places. Simple enough. The issue here is that it's not to 4 decimal places you want to write it. You want to write this number to 4 significant figures. What do? Do you do the same thing and say is the first, second, third, fourth? Is that so? Do you say you can write this as point and then first, second, third, fourth? No, can't be any of those. Those are not correct. So let's see what would happen. Remember, the first significant figure is the first non-zero digit that you see as you look from left to right. So, looking from left to right at this number, you're seeing the first 0. The first figure is a 0, not a significant figure according to the rule. This is not a significant figure. This is not a significant figure. You haven't met on any non-zero digits yet. This is not a significant figure. The first non-zero digit that you see is 3. So it suggests that 3 is the first significant figure. Then the second, then the third is 5, then the fourth is 6. And you say that is to 4 significant figures. Well, let's look at something. Do you notice that the number you wrote down is 3,156? But the number you're writing to 3 significant figure is 0.0031562. Something seems to be wrong here, because this number 3156 is a bigger number than 0.003156. Let's ignore the 2 for now since you left it off. How much bigger is it? Let's see. 3156 divided by 0.003156. If you multiply this by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by a million, what you would get is 3,156. And up here, must multiply by the same million, 3,156 million. So guess what? This number, the 3156, is a million times bigger than the number you started out with. So what to do? The thing is this now. Just like with previous video where you had to put in the zeros to maintain the size of the number, you have to do the same thing here. So you have to put in this 0 right here, and you have to fill this 0 in as well and put it right here. But then you need the point. Now 0.003156 is close to 0.003156 because this is the same number written to 4 significant figures now. You ask, what about the 0 in front? You don't really need to write it, but one complaint I heard, especially before it was conventional to write the 0 before, is because when persons are marking exam, they did not see the point. So it's advisable to put 0 before the point. That 0 is big and can't be missed. So the exam marker would clearly know that there's a 0 and then a point. There must be a point here, no matter how small the point is. They would pay attention and see that there's a point here. Alright, so here now, this is this number to 4 significant figures. The first significant figure is the 3. This one, that's the first, then the second, then the third, then the fourth. You need to put in these zeros to show the size of the number. Right? They're not considered significant figures, but they show the size of the number. Alright? So 0.00 something, small number, much smaller than 1. Alright. Now, let us see what would happen if you are required to write it to 3 significant figures. So 3 significant figures now. What will you write? Well, you get the drift from up here. So here, the first significant figure, you can see that in this case it would be 3. The second is 1. The third is, no, use it from up here, from the original number. So you have the 3, and you have the 1, that's 2 so far. Then you have 5 as the third. You have 5, but wait, the number to the right of 5 is 6. So you have to add 1 to that 5 to get 6. Once the number to the right of 5 is 5 or more, remember the rule of rounding off. So you add 1 to get 6. Then you fill in these numbers before. These show the size of the number. This one, it's for safety, to ensure that you know that there's a decimal point here, in case the point is not big enough for somebody else to see. Alright, so this is the number to 3 significant figures. Alright, now I'm going to want you to write it to 2 and then 1 significant figure. But just before we finish, let us see what this decimal really means. Here it is just 0 plus this is this 0. It represents 0/10. The digit to the right of the point, the decimal point, is representing how many tenths you have. It's 0/10 plus this 0 is showing 0/100th. Alright, plus this 3 is telling us that you have 3. Let me rewrite that. That you have 3 1,000ths, plus this one is telling us that you have 1 10,000th, and so on and so forth. Right? So the fact that this 3 means 3 1,000th, this one is 1 10,000th, you need to show how many hundredths and how many tenths you have before. So you really need to put in these 2 zeros here. Alright, okay, good. So as I said, I want you to finish this off by writing the number to 2 and then 1 significant figure. Alright, so put your answer in the comments and we'll do another video next time.